Things have been a little disrupted because of my travel and our trip from Anchorage to Portland, 9 days down the Alcan, was its own wondrous spiritual experience for me. In experiencing, that landscape that is vast and magnificent and largely uninhabited. When I traveled that 30 years ago, it was lonely and desolate. And now it feels very welcome to be out there, having all that space and not bumping up against other egos. 30 years in Alaska have taught me, great love of the wilderness. So I felt all of that in my body, my heart, my spirit, my soul, and was blessed to have many experiences of oneness, which is new. It's a huge blessing to feel at one with all of that. So I'm also grateful to be back to civilization and to be back to Zoom and get to see all you all and to reconnect deeply with the practice and spiritual discipline of imagining that we have 1 year to live. And allowing ourselves to imagine that we only have 1 more year of life on this planet, and therefore committing to living every moment, to be alive in all our moments. So several weeks back now, I did a teaching from the book A Year to Live by Stephen Levine. And it was a teaching on the life review. And we invited people from our past into our awareness and then interacted with them in our imagination. And it was in the book, so I taught it. But I truly wasn't that sure about it. I thought that the practice was pretty simplistic and not that much would come out of it. But I've heard from several of you that the practice was very affecting. And I have actually practiced it repeatedly myself and will continue to do so. And I have been very surprised at all the people who have shown up in my memory and imagination. And also surprised at, from what seems like a pretty simple practice, the release and healing that has come to me. I actually had a huge healing from a really traumatic experience in my life. And the healing was so gentle and so easy. It's something that I've worked on and struggled with my whole life. And I just shake my head in wonder and thankfulness that this is possible through a practice like that. It's supported by our practice, surrendered presence, which allows us to be really present with it. So that brings us to our practice and topic for tonight, which is gratitude. And in the life review from the book, there are 2 practices that are used as we meet the people and the moments from our life. And we've only worked with gratitude so far because I've really wanted to take my time with this life review thing. It's really important, I feel. The other part of the practice besides gratitude is forgiveness. And we'll get to that soon. But first, I want to make sure that we really understand in our being the deep experience of gratitude. So I looked up that word, gratitude, so I could get started kind of as a launching pad to talk about it. Well, what's the definition of gratitude? And here's what I got from Merriam-Webster: the state of being grateful, thankful. And that so doesn't resonate with how gratitude feels in my being. So I went and looked up the word thanks. It was equally boring, but I scrolled down and looked at the etymology of the word. And I found that the word thanks came from the Latin word that means to know. And then when I read that, my heart did a little dance. To know. So just feel that for a moment. Gratitude being somehow related to knowing. See if you can feel how that knowing has nothing at all to do with information. Probably has nothing to do at all with thinking or attempting to think our way towards gratitude. So gratitude being something that we know in some deep part of our being. And one thing that we know when we're experiencing gratitude is we know the moment as it is. So the moment meets us in its full beingness, and something in us responds to that moment and says, yes, I see you. And we feel in that moment that it's right and it's good and it's what we need. And we feel towards it, you are right and good and what I need, even if you're not what I thought I wanted or thought I wanted to feel. So gratitude is so far beyond feeling thanks for what is good in this world or good in our life, what we think is good or what we want. And it's so far beyond that I am actually at a loss for how to talk about it. And I wasn't super wowed in the book with how Stephen Levine talked about it. But he was really close to helping me feel something and feel it in this line. He says, it's the luminous ground on which we plant our temporary feet. It's the luminous ground. So we notice mostly temporarily. So something I can say about gratitude is that gratitude and love are intimately dependent on each other. Gratitude and love just constantly feeding back on one another. So when I was being driven down the Alcan by Mark, thank you very much, all those thousands of miles, I was able to know that landscape in a way that had nothing to do with my mind. And I could deeply feel gratitude in my body, my heart, my spirit. So all of me, all my beingness felt grateful. And in that experience of feeling grateful, the words that arose to me over and over and over were, I love you. I love you. That was my being's response to feeling that deep gratitude. I love you. Thank you. So see if you can start feeling your way to maybe the idea that gratitude is much more vast, much greater than we've kind of ever considered it to be. And as we do that, we'll dispense with the talking and go on to the practicing. And I'm going to begin the practice tonight with the first two stages of surrendering presence. And those stages are presence, becoming present, and holding, in which we begin to relax and open ourselves. And once we get there, we'll start exploring gratitude. Gratitude is that deep knowing, the deep knowing of all that is other than ourself. That deep knowing that is all that is other than ourselves and causes us to be filled with love and then to send it back out into the world. So let's begin with simply noticing right now your own experience. And when you notice any experience at all, to simply name it to yourself. So if you hear a sound, you name that. If there's a feeling in your body, you name that. If you're having a thought, you name that. And then see if you can notice how just naming your experience is bringing you into your own being and into this moment. And in this moment, we affirm the presence of love. We become aware of love surrounding us. And love that fills us. And we begin to accept the fact that, as far-fetched as it may seem, we are that love. So we practice in this deep awareness. We are loved and we are love. So I invite you now to bring your awareness to your feet as we turn to our body to begin to ground us in the here and now. And as you notice your feet, see if gratitude arises in you for your feet. So I'm not going to instruct you to feel gratitude for your feet. I'm going to invite you to notice if gratitude arises in you. And then for your lower legs, for your knees, your upper legs, and your hips. Noticing gratitude arise for the belly, for all the organs of the belly that are at work right now to keep you healthy. And allowing gratitude to arise in your chest. And as you notice your heart, noticing any experience of gratitude as you notice your shoulders, your arms, and your hands. Bringing your awareness to the tailbone, feeling gratitude as your awareness travels up the spine, noticing your back muscles, your ribs, noticing your neck, your scalp, and your face. And then noticing yourself as one whole physical being, noticing your whole body at once, and allowing gratitude to arise that we inhabit this body, this physical being, how wondrous it is. Beginning to notice what that gratitude feels like. Now remaining grounded in the body, noticing your heart. Feeling your heart and allowing your heart to feel whatever it feels. Our work is only to notice and be with our own heart, to know it lovingly and intimately, and thereby learning to trust it. Noticing this part of us that we call spirit. It's actually our aliveness beyond the physical. You can feel it moving through us, the spiritual energy, a flow. Sometimes it mimics, mirrors the energy that is around you in nature, in the world. See if you can feel your own aliveness. And then noticing our mind. With practice, as we notice all parts of our being and send our attention places other than the mind begins to quiet. But more than quiet, it becomes spacious, becomes bigger than just our little head. And so we're not as caught up in thoughts and thinking. And we can notice our mind. And now experiencing yourself as one whole being. All at once, that you're this wondrous combination of body, heart, spirit, mind, all here now. That you are present. And in your presence, begin to notice the way you're being drawn into the earth and held here by the force of gravity. Let your being feel this. Let it become a reality to you that you are held, that you don't have to hold yourself. You can relax. You can open to this moment. You can open to love. So from this place of openness and staying in this place, we're going to practice a little bit with gratitude. I'm going to suggest some things that we are grateful for, and then we'll do some more exploring. We'll first notice this moment in this holding space, an awareness that a door is open here. And we now invite love to help us to truly experience gratitude. So gratitude for certain things, but eventually we'll see if we can experience gratitude in and of itself. And in that, leaving open the possibility that we might learn that there is gratitude in every moment in our life. I know that's a big stretch, and we can't and shouldn't force ourselves to feel gratitude. Stephen Levine says, gratitude is the highest form of acceptance. It's a catalytic agent, one of the alchemist's secrets for turning dross to gold, hell to heaven, death to life. of feeling gratitude for this moment in which we see how we see. We feel what we feel. And we know what it's like to know. Feel gratitude for having this moment in this body. This moment in this body. To feel gratitude for the kindness of loved ones. To feel gratitude for the kindness of strangers. To be grateful for the moments of our joy and that we can experience joy. To be grateful for our great heart. To be grateful for all the angels we've met along our path. To be grateful to be living in a world and a time in which the value of compassion cannot be overlooked. Being grateful for a sense of presence. Being grateful for an experience of simple being. To feel grateful for love and the ability to experience love. Whether we are giving or receiving an experience of love. And now going below any idea of feeling grateful for something. Simply feeling what gratitude feels like in your being. It doesn't need to be named, it doesn't need to be described, it simply needs to be felt. So that we can say to ourselves, ah, when it arises in us, this is gratitude. And when you touch into that sense, when you know what it feels like, seeing if you can let that expand. Imagining it growing as you attend to it, as love feeds it and it feeds love. Just allow it to grow and expand Might go beyond your body, beyond your mind, beyond the building that you're in. And just allowing that gratitude to include all that it encounters. And then to rest in that for a moment. As I say every time we gather, and I do mean it from the bottom of my being. I feel it from the bottom of my being. I get tears as I say this. Thank you so much for practicing with me and supporting my own practice. I love you all.